Hello there, you lovely people. I hope you're safe and I hope that you're well. I am delighted to be joined this week by a very dear colleague of mine, Sam. Sam is the founder of Student Breakthrough. He has many different hats. He supports young people, students with mental health. He also supports professionals with coaching, mentoring, and different programs. So thanks for joining me today, Sam.
Jo, so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
You are more than welcome. We've had some tech issues on my part, so we are on my phone. So Sam has got so much patience for bearing with me this morning, so I'm super grateful. So this week's video is to support those students in year 11 who have just left and year 13 that have just left, that will have been receiving their GCSE and A-level results and some other further education results as well this week. Sam's kindly joined me today because we'd just like to kind of discuss how you may be feeling. So, Sam, I've got a few questions for you. My first question for you, Sam, is how do you think kind of our students might be feeling, our young people might be feeling from receiving their results this week?
Yeah, well, it's a strange one, isn't it? Because obviously this is not normal and this is very different to what's happened for the last 30, 40 years, whatever, with GCSEs. So I think there'll definitely be some uncertainty. I think, although there might also be some certainty in the fact that the students have, potentially put in all their effort into these teacher assessed grades, and their teachers might be rewarding them with that. So there might be some uncertainty, but there also might be some more certainty for some students. But ultimately, it's out of their control now, and it's only what they've put in for the last year. But it's been super, super tough. I've seen many, many different challenges over the last year working with year 11 students. And I think one thing that really sticks out to me is this almost unknown and not having enough control over the situation. So I think there might be some always exam nerves, always exam result nerves. That's never going to go away. But for some students, they might actually be feeling a bit more relieved. Who knows?
Yeah, I hear you there. So that's perfect, Sam. My next question for you is, how do you think what would be your top tips for those students that maybe aren't happy with their grades that they've received this year?
Yeah, I think, one thing to consider is with all of this is it's just a snapshot in time. But if you're not happy, a massive tip I can give you is my biggest tagline, which is to express, don't suppress. And actually not bottling up those feelings, talking to a parent, teacher or friend about how you're feeling, right? True courage and true strength, it's not physical. It's actually having that ability to share when you're not feeling so good. And we've all been through challenges, right? We all need these challenges to help us learn, grow, and become the better version of ourselves. So actually talking about this is the biggest bit of advice I can give. And if you can't actually speak, or you don't want to speak, or you don't feel confident in speaking about how you're feeling about the results, getting up a pen and paper and writing down this is so, so important, because you're still taking an idea out of your brain and putting that down. So I think my first tip would be to communicate, right? To talk or write about your feelings. I think the other thing is to actually step up and at this time become a leader for your life. That doesn't mean to go and become a captain of a team or give a rousing speech. But whatever happens, if you've had your results, A-levels or GCSEs coming up, a massive bit of advice is to take responsibility for whatever happens. The past has happened. All we can control right now is the present and how we react. And one great way to take responsibility, even if you get great results you're happy with or not so great results, is to ask yourself some conscious questions. Right? As human beings, we're always asking questions. But to ask questions like, what can I learn from this? Right? What can I learn from this moment in time? And how can I use that moving forward? Because if you're disappointed, right, tomorrow or with A-levels, that's okay. Feel the emotion. You're a human being. Feel that emotion. But over time, you've got to realize that this is just a snapshot, and you can use whatever happened to build you back stronger. But it has to start with you, right? My mentor shared with me yesterday that transformation is not a spectator sport. I really love that quote. If you want to change this, right? If you want to do better in the future, then learn from this moment, step up, and do something different. Okay, get different results next time. And I think the other thing is that although it might seem a big deal right now, and it is important, all that is it's the next stepping stone on your path, your journey. It's that next step. I failed my maths GCSE 4 times. Right? I eventually passed when I was 19 years old. Okay, so it's just a stepping stone. And now I've been a teacher, I run a really successful business, and I'm on a call with Jo. So it's just a snapshot. And I think my last thing to consider is the facts and the stories that we tell ourselves. If you haven't had a good result, the fact is, maybe you didn't go your way, maybe you didn't revise hard enough, maybe things just were out of your control. But the stories we tell ourselves are like, I'm a failure, I can't do this, I've let people down, my future might be over in some ways. So actually check in with what are the facts right now? Yeah, you might not have done so well. Feel that emotion, feel the pain, but understand that they're the facts, and we need to start thinking, getting out of our head and into our heart, right? Removing the stories we tell ourselves and focusing purely on the facts. So I think for me, my top 3 tips, just to go back: communicate, talk or write about your feelings, step up and be a leader, engage, what can I learn, how can I use this? And lastly, understand that your brain is going to be telling you lots of stories, but it's important to focus on the facts.
I love that. And your mentee, that was such a good point that they made with that quote. That, honestly, amazing. So my final question for you, I've got 2. Sam, for some students, obviously this year, for 2021, we've had the central assessed grades. So some of our students out there will be really thrilled with their grades, and they'll be getting into their next chosen destination, whether that's university, apprenticeship, college, sixth form. But equally, there will be some students out there that aren't happy with their grades. However, they may necessarily kind of allow them to get into the next stepping stone of where they need to go. So how is it for a student to maybe process maybe the disappointment with that particular grade?
Yeah, I think, you can get into the next step, but you can still be disappointed with your grade. I think the biggest thing to consider here is your grade is not your self-worth, right? We're always putting figures onto our self-worth, right? When you become an adult, lots of adults put finance, right, as their self-worth. Right now we might be putting a grade that a teacher has created out of thin air as our self-worth, right? Your grades do not define you. It's so important to understand this, that your self-worth has to come from the inside out, and actually appreciate the journey you have been on, the successes you have made, the positive steps you've taken, and the lessons you've learned throughout, your school career. Take those and understand that you can keep growing and becoming a better version of yourself as you move forward. Brilliant.
Oh, Sam, I love your work. So where can our students and other professionals find out more about what you do and maybe follow you on? I know you're on Instagram for certain, and Facebook, I believe.
Yeah, so on Instagram, if you're a student, it's at Student Breakthrough. We've got loads of great content on there for you guys, so come and check us out. On Facebook, it's at Student Breakthrough as well. And the website is studentbreakthrough.com. You can follow me on LinkedIn, which is Sam Moinet.
Excellent. My last question for you, Sam, and thank you so much for your time, is what advice would you give to your 16-year-old self?
On my day of my GCSE results, I was terrified, absolutely terrified. And when my mum drove me into school, it was a really rainy day, kind of a horrible day, really. And I had Bob Marley playing, which was Don't Worry About a Thing, because every little thing is going to be all right. And over my GCSE results, I failed my maths. I'm not the most academic guy. I tried my best. And actually looking back, I'm just only reflecting on this moment now. Do those words still ring true? That in that moment where you either think you failed, succeeded, whatever, every little thing is going to be all right. And everything that's always on the way is meant for you, right? And I genuinely believe that. If you haven't done well, that was meant for you to give you that little push to do better next time. If you have achieved, then awesome, right? Well done. It was meant for you because you clearly put in loads of work, and that's cool, and you can keep building. But go back to myself, it was probably actually a CD player, right? I mean, I'm getting a bit old now, right? A CD player with my headphones on, Bob Marley playing, every little thing is going to be all right.
I love that. And we could just big up that song right now because it's such a classic song, isn't it? Good old Bob Marley. Sam, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your patience with my tech this morning. And yeah, most definitely, everybody, please check out Sam's work because he really is doing such great things. You take care, Sam, and I'll speak to you soon.
No worries, Joe. Thanks.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.